Alright, howdy folks, Farmer Devin here. Taking a minute today. I'm actually pretty busy doing a bunch of stuff, but I just realized I was watching some of the videos in my gallery. One, I haven't uploaded in a while, and two, it's been like a full month since I even recorded anything. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to go ahead and record a couple of videos, and then I'm probably going to go upload either this one or one of the more recent ones first, and then I'll upload pretty much all three of the ones I have in queue right off the bat, and it's going to be a few more weeks before you see any more videos. Glass keeps slipping. I need to get those readjusted. Anyway, yeah, so let's go over quickly what's happening. We're going to do a couple of quick things in today's video. I'm going to show you, one, the compost yard and its current situation, and basically that's kind of how it's going to look for the winter, other than additional snow drifts that form as the snow comes in a little harder. And then two, what I'm up to today, I am butchering the birds. So we had 9 geese and 7 or so ducks left for personal consumption that I'm getting butchered today. We may possibly end up selling some of the geese for Christmas geese, but those birds are done now, so we don't have any more animals to feed over the winter, and I can focus on working and making some money for the family. Anyway, so here is some updates on the compost yard first. So it's been a month. You can see the last video I did, I think we were on this bay, maybe that one, and we were just starting to turn everything into the big bins. I had managed to get those 2 filled up before I went to work the last time, and then I just got these 2 done on days off this time. I just started a new job a little while ago, so I actually get some days off. I will not be taking very many of them over the winter, but going to take full advantage of that come next year. Anyway, so you can see these are pretty full. I am about 5'11", and these are probably about 5'9" now, 5'10". When I filled these, because of ice and the fact that the microorganisms hadn't really worked on the pile as of yet, these were probably about 7 feet tall or so, 7.5, and with the angle of repose, they were pretty steep, flowing over the edges and all that. But now we've got relatively moist compost stacked in here, hopefully protected from the majority of evaporation over the winter, with the pallets to break the wind, and then the landscape fabric to further break the wind but allow aeration. And in April, that pile will come out along with the other 3 piles that are behind me, and they'll all get bulked up somewhere in this region where it's relatively easy to access them and throw them into a trailer or wheelbarrow or what have you for use around the property. And everything else is kind of cleared out. You can see all of these bays are empty in between the incoming bay and the first pile. I haven't got those pallet bins built for the first pile. I don't know if that's going to happen at this point. We will see kind of how that goes. Wanted to show a little bit off about the soil creation that happened just from that pile being here for a while. This has turned what was really truly dead sand into pretty nice looking soil, with pretty decent tilth for not having actually done anything to it. See, there's a little bit of an anaerobic layer there. Maybe that's just charcoal. And then there's some of your base sand. So it built quite a bit of actual soil underneath of what was the compost. And I can tell that when I get to using a lot of this compost, it's going to have some positive effect where it's used. But this backyard, like the rest of the property, was heavily abused by the people that own horses and lived here before us. And they had horses in this yard for a little while. And so this tiny little yard, about the size of a large suburban backyard, was really heavily degraded when we moved in here. So to see that kind of a soil formation that quick is a good sign. I'm hoping to see some greenery come spring. But here is some of our other bins. You can see, I mean, it's obviously just pallets put together, right? So it's not really the most structural, but it does hold compost, and that's really all we need of it. You can see there's some bones kicking around here for the dogs to chew on. I hang my animals in a friend's walk-in cooler, and he was lucky enough to get an elk this year, so he gave me some bones, and dogs have been working on that. along with some wild magpies that have been coming around. This pile was the pile I managed to hydrate the best when I was filling it. I had the hose over here and I was able to hydrate it pretty much the whole way up the pile, and this was about 7 feet tall when I filled it, and it's now, you know, almost level with the bend, so the microbes were able to actually work a lot of that material. I'm sure the core got quite hot. The snow was really well melted on this when the snow came in, so I'm pretty sure that's a very active pile. One big difference about this pile, it looks a little bigger, and that's because this pallet is an actual 4-foot pallet, whereas a lot of the other ones are 42s, I think. And I think I'm going to try to do that with all the bins in the future. I like that. It seems like it fits a little more compost. It wasn't quite as hard to fit quite as much, even though I had a big pile. So anyway, there is the update on the compost yard. I'm going to go ahead and shut this off, and we'll do another video on the duck processing after I go wash my hands and kind of show you what the ducks look like and just a basic breakdown probably. Alright, thanks. Alright, howdy folks, Farmer Devin here. Just want to do a quick video on a goose breakdown. This is our butchering block. See, we have our raw apple cider vinegar and our hydrogen peroxide for sanitation. Tools of the trade here, we got a sharp knife for incisions, some shears, poultry shears for cutting through bone and the like, and that's mostly what we use. I also have these little 69-cent spring clamps. Those are for pulling out little pin feathers that might have gotten missed in the processing. So there's a few quick snips we make before we get started on the bird. Just going to cut through the cartilage on these legs here, bending that back while we're at it, trying not to actually cut through the bone. It doesn't take a lot of pressure. There we go. Those are the legs, and we'll throw those in the bucket for smoking, and we'll smoke those up for dog treats later. I take the wingtips off on my geese and my ducks because there's just not much there in the way of table fare. Decent for stock, and again good for dog treats. So a couple quick snips, and that gets us through the feet and the wingtips. There we go. I'm going to come up here, I'm going to cut the head off. Now these birds have been hanging for a week. I always like to dry age my waterfowl, so I'm going to also cut a little bit of the neck off wherever it's dried out from hanging. Both the head and the neck are going to go to the dog treat bin. So that's all of our dog treats. Everything else is potential table fare. Now this bird is a decent enough size. We could make it a Christmas goose, leave it whole, call it good. It's got a good chunk of fat for cooking with. I'll probably break it down just for the sake of this video. So we're going to make it cut through the neck there, right at the top of the breast. That's going to give us our neck piece. Then we have our bird here. We're going to start by flipping it over. Remove the wings here. That involves following right here. You can see there's a little bit of a darker spot on the skin. If you just follow that with your knife, that will generally reveal the socket. That's going to be down here. Just like with the leg and any other cuts, you're really not trying to cut through any bone. You're just teasing apart that joint and trying to cut apart the cartilage that's holding the bone together. The soft tissue. So, this one's giving me trouble, of course, because I'm on camera, but it's not a huge fight. It's just a matter of working it out, making the right cut. Rotate it around a little bit. There we go. There's a wing. That gets the wing out of the way for making the cut on the leg. So that's going to be right in here, following the breast line, which ends about there. You can see that we're really just pulling the leg apart. It's not actually cutting through much meat there. We're going to remove the bottom part there from the main bird as well. Now that leg's able to come apart. You can see our socket right here. Come this way, cut around that socket, Now we know we have pretty much all the meat, so we're just going to follow that through. There's a leg. Then we have the breast. There's a collarbone right here, so we're going to make an incision right along the keel bone, and then along the collarbone. And then it's just like filleting a fish, removing the meat from the rib cage. Yeah. You can tell from my speed I'm not cut out for factory work, because it's taken me a lot longer to go through this bird than it would anybody that was really well versed in what they were doing. But we get the job done. It makes a good quality product at the end, and that's what's important. Alright, and there's the breast. And it's pretty much going to be the same process on the other side of the bird, but for the camera woman's sake, we're just going to do that and let everybody see what's going on. One last cut before we turn it off. Got all this fat in here. There's some bone that comes up from the main carcass. It's going to be right in the center of this. So in order to get that out, I usually will start on the inside, just getting that knife underneath. Try to peel it back, just like that. Right there's the bone we're worried about, so try not to cut that with a knife, because we don't want to dull it. And this is a big old goose, so a massive chunk of fat for rendering. There you have it. Thanks for watching.